Hello again, everyone. I'm back. So I'm Robin Rahe. I'm moderating this conversation with Pauline, who will be talking about embedding discovery and delivery in the workflow. Just a quick intro to myself. I've been an entrepreneur. I've worked at really large companies and really small companies. And I'm really intrigued to see how Pauline kind of ties together in a really practical way the dual challenges for product management of both discovery of what to work on and actually delivering that. So Pauline, can you tell us more about your background?
Hello, everyone. So my name is Pauline. I'm French, based in Paris. I've been doing product management for over 10 years. I actually worked in San Francisco for half of my career so far. And then I joined startups in Paris 5 years ago. And today I'm VP of product at PlayPlay and managing a team of 10 product managers and product designers.
Great. And so can you tell me a little bit more about PlayPlay just before you share your slides?
Yeah, absolutely. So PlayPlay is a French startup. We were founded 4 years ago, so we're still like an early stage startup. We are a B2B product, and basically our product is a video creation platform. Anyone working in marketing or communication can easily create their own video content without needing agencies or motion designers. So it's a SaaS B2B enterprise world. It's 120 of us in Paris today, and the tech and product team is 60 people total today. So it's an org of 60 people organized in tribes and squads, quite the standards organization.
Well, I know you have some slides to share. I just want to remind everybody who's joining us that we actually do have a Q&A section. So I have some prepared questions, but please feel free to add your own questions for Pauline in the Q&A section and to upvote them along the way.
Great. So we can move to the slides. I know that it's a Q&A session, but I wanted to just have a few slides to give you a little bit of context as an introduction, so it won't last too long. But basically what we've done at PlayPlay is we've built a product development playbook in 5 steps. And in this playbook, we've embedded discovery and delivery into the same workflow. So this is just what I want to share with you very quickly as an introduction so that we can then talk about this playbook and the different steps in this playbook, but you have an overview first. So what I experienced early in my career is product development was a lot about delivery with developers, product owners, QAs, etc. And I was like, okay, well, let's do a little bit of discovery. And then you have the world of product managers and designers. But then at the end, what I really felt is that you have dual roadmaps and product strategists and user researchers, and all of that kind of disconnects discovery and delivery. And people involved in delivery, such as developers or QAs, are kind of moved further away from the world of discovery. So what we've done really is build this 5 steps playbook from what we call opportunity to lovable product, and a squad, what we call a squad, which is made of a product manager, a tech lead, developers, a designer, and QA. Is responsible for this entire playbook. And it's a squad objectives to take opportunities and then arrive at a lovable product. What I'll share very quickly with you is what are these 5 steps. So we call them problem understanding, solution exploration, product and design delivery, tech delivery, analysis and iteration. And again, the squad is responsible for these 5 steps. And you can see that 3 out of these 5 steps are discovery steps. So that's how discovery is really embedded into the workflow of product development. And that's how the delivery world with developers and QA will meet the discovery world with problem understanding, solution exploration, analysis, etc. So what we do at each of these steps, again, very quickly, we can go deeper in some of them if you want during the Q&A session. But problem understanding is really where we start. Many people are involved because it's, I think, the most important step of this entire product development process, but the goal is to have a deep understanding of the problem. So you have a vague opportunity at the beginning, and then at the end you have a problem statement. We answer 4 questions. What is the problem? Why do we want to solve this problem? Who are we solving this for? And what are the jobs to be done? And this is really written with different people. So product managers and designers might be a bit more involved, but developers and stakeholders such as CSM, customer success team, is really involved here. Once we have a clear understanding of the problem, we're going to move to solution exploration, where we have to find the best solution for this problem and build a prototype. Here, of course, you could think that product designers are heavily involved, and yes, of course, but we wouldn't do it without developers. I think that's something where developers are really heavily integrated into this phase. And they really participate in workshops, etc. And we include also stakeholders. So you can see that our designer is very creative on Figma. Then we move to the delivery world after 2 steps of discovery, basically product and design delivery, that you can also call specification. So we finalize specification, and we also define the go-to-market strategy. Here we answer 4 questions again. How will we get this product to market? What are the implications for other teams? What factors are critical to success? And the one that you can't see, that is, how will we measure success for this product? So before writing a single line of code, we have to answer and align on all these questions. So that's 3 steps: problem understanding, solution exploration, and product and design delivery. And here we move to tech delivery, which is what is the most common step when we think about product development. The goal here is just to launch the product. So yeah, sprints and all of that, the usual Scrum and delivery methodology. Designer, developers, product managers here are involved, and we include in this step also everything about product marketing and go-to-market that we have to do. And here we have the product that is live, so we are super excited. The team is going to go out and celebrate. We're going to drink champagne because we're in France, of course. But then actually what we've done is we really decided that our success wasn't here, and the definition of done wasn't after the product was live. We actually really defined a 5th step. It's actually the most recent step in our playbook, but it's a very important step, and it's what we call analysis and iteration. So the idea is that we have a product that is in production, but we want to turn it into a lovable product, meaning a product that reaches our initial goals in terms of adoption, client satisfaction, and of course, impact. And here it's going to take like a few days, a few weeks, a few months to get it right. And then once we have a lovable product, we write what we call the product closeout, where we answer the questions: what is the impact of the project? Did we have any fails? What have we learned from it? Did we iterate? And the last one that you can't see, what are the next steps, if any? So this is really the final step. It's very important in my product management leadership and what I expect from the squads. And here developers are going to be extremely involved, watching Hotjar sessions, looking at the data, talking to customers, talking to the support team. So it's really like discovery about your product and what you just launched. And this is when we consider that we're done at PlayPlay. So the 5th step: problem understanding, solution exploration, product and design delivery, tech delivery, and then the last one, iteration, to reach lovable product. That's it. It was just a very quick introduction to kind of set up the different steps, but I wanted to make sure that we had time for Q&As. So that's it for me in terms of presentation.
Thanks, Pauline. So I have a question. I think it's somewhat similar to Richard's come back. There you are. I think the first question I want to ask, I think, is really similar to one that Richard asked as well, which is sort of When you have multiple problems that can be solved, how do you determine which ones go forward and
You
which
mean
ones not to solve?
okay? So you mean the prioritization of the opportunities that we have at the top?
Correct.
All right. So, well, first, how do we identify opportunities? So basically, each tribe has a mission statement and objectives that they have to reach every semester. So that already helps in terms of prioritization. Does it help with our objective or not? And then if we have like competing opportunities, we do RICE methodology. So reach, impact, confidence, and effort. And that's usually what we use to prioritize our semestrial roadmap. I don't know if we use that word, but yeah.
So they already kind of have a pre-filter within the tribes and squads that where they're internally kind of filtering, making those decisions on which problems are worth solving.
Yes. So it's really about how many customers is going to reach, what is the impact that is expected, what is the confidence that we have in it, what will be the effort. So of course, it's really like t-shirt size at this stage of the process. But the baseline is, does it help reach our goal, and does it help with our tribe mission?
Okay. I have another question, which is, so you mentioned each of the stages and having kind of the same core people being involved. Is it literally the exact same people who are going from like through each part of the process, or are there some people who kind of drop in or drop out depending on the phase?
So you have the core people. So I would say the three core people are tech leads, product manager, and product designer of the tribe. So it's really what we call our squad leads. And really, the tech lead is involved as early as the problem understanding. But we also have key developers in each squad that we bring as early as problem understanding. And then as soon as we're in solution exploration, the entire squad is looped in, workshops, presentations, updates during stand-ups or planning or etc. It's really part of the routine of the squad to be included in this, because they have quarterly goals about this entire process. So even the developers have goals about discovery. And the CTO and I, we give common goals to the squads to make sure that everybody feels ownership in this entire process.
So I want to follow that up with a question from Luis, which he says, usually the main challenge in this is to ensure that all squad profiles engage in the different activities, specifically in environments using dual track. How do you really foster engagement in all of the phases? If let's say people might have interest in one phase more than another, how do you make sure that there's sustained interest throughout and engagement?
Well, we don't expect the same level of engagement depending on the phases. I would say, of course, in some phases, developers are going to be more active, and then in some others, we expect engagement and participation, but not like full, leadership on a phase. I think the product culture has been super strong at PlayPlay from the very beginning. So we have hired people who are really eager to participate. And when we don't do enough discovery, developers complain about it. That being said, I think what we're trying to also to include developers in discovery, we're trying to make it very interactive, really fun. We include them in Hotjar session. We call them like Hotjar breakfast or Hotjar popcorn parties. And we bring them into customer calls. So really trying to bring them into the real world, facing customers or facing when we do a workshop with, let's say,
Can I interrupt really quickly? Just I use Hotjar, so I know what it is, but I wanted to make sure other people know how Hotjar is a tool that brings developers into the experience.
Yeah, so Hotjar is a session replay session. So basically, you record sessions of your users, and you can replay them and watch how they use your product. And so when you're able to select, like, let's say, 10 sessions of users interacting with the part of the product that you want to work on, or the product that you just launched, then the developers can really see like how people interact with it, what they get about it, what they don't get about it. Sometimes your heart is broken because they can't see the big button that you've put in the middle of the page. But that's how we kind of like make it playful for everyone. so that everyone is interested and wants to participate. We've also organized big dog fooding sessions and workshops with developers. And again, we've tried to make them playful. So they had to create real videos, make jokes in their videos. We watched the videos, and then we had like a big workshop, etc. So it's really trying to make it as interactive and playful. And then at the end of the day, also because of the casting that we've made, it just creates a really big positive energy in the squads. And I think that also, sorry, just one last part, the fact that the CTO and I are promoting this and are setting like together at the same time from like one voice, the objective of the squad. Also, it makes it very clear that they have to own it and it's part of their jobs. And there is no disconnect between tech and product, even from the leadership team.
No, I agree. I think it's really important to have that kind of unified voice throughout the process and kind of setting the tone. Was there any kind of difficulty when in the transition of moving the definition of done? Was there like any resistance from the team? I mean, you don't get your champagne until later. How did the team
No,
react
we
to
drink
that?
champagne twice when the feature is out. There's been like a lot of effort, and then when we have a lovable product, I think it's not like we had resistance because everybody gets that we want to have impact, and we talk a lot about the impact that we have, etc. I think it's more about taking time to do it and making sure then iterations can be prioritized in sprints. We're in a scale-up. It's a really fast-paced environment, so you can always be running after the next shiny feature. And even expectations from leadership or the sales team or the CS team can be always about the next big thing. And to be very transparent, it's an ongoing challenge. Sometimes we have to say, okay, it's not really lovable. We know it, but we also know that it's not that core in our experience. And we are going to accept that we are not going to reach lovable product, but at least we're honest with each other. We document it. We know, okay, if we had time to iterate, here is what we will have done. Here is what we have learned from it. So I'm not going to say we iterate on 100% of our projects because this is utopia. But we try to do it. We try to really promote it. Even as a VP product, I try to promote these activities into the leadership team so that it's also seen as something valuable from other people in the company. And then when we don't do it, we make sure to still have the closeout and say, okay, guys, we wish we had time to do it, but given the new objectives or what's happening in the market or whatever, we feel like we will have more impact building this than iterating on that.
Great. Now I want to bring forward a question from Ben. How do you create excitement internally without speaking about solutions in your early phases?
So I think something that has changed with this playbook is we've presented what we do in the product team differently. So I've been at the company for 3 years, so I've been educating every single employee about problem and not solution, because I was very, very early at the company, so I've onboarded personally sales and CS and marketing, etc. But I think we create excitement because we talk about the impact that we want to have and what we want to change for our users' experience. And let's be honest, sometimes the phrase between the solution and the problem is not that different if it's something that you've been talking about for like 18 months. But really saying, what is the impact that we want to have on customers? What is the impact that we want to have for our sales team or CS team? And then as soon as we have something visual, we're going to share something visual, of course. When we do a presentation, if we have started solution exploration, then we're going to share what we have. And we're just always going to say, we have this because this is the problem that we want to solve.
So I want to kind of tie that to the next question from Naman, which is, what is your framework for customer conversations? How often do you talk to end users and get feedback? You mentioned Hotjar, which is kind of a tool where it's not necessarily a conversation, but you have a way to see how are users actually using the product today. It sounds like you involved engineers very early on so that they see what customers are doing. They can kind of see, oh, they're not clicking that really big, obvious button. But in actually talking to users, do you have any frameworks around that?
Yeah, so we kind of have two ways of doing user research or talking to users. We have what we call exploratory user research, and we do it on a regular basis, but with no specific objective in mind, apart from knowing our users, getting a deep understanding of their need and their usage. So everyone in the product team has to have a conversation with one of our users every week. So it's one of our KPI as a team. We call it the user talk KPI. You have to have one conversation a week. You have to do chat sessions. So basically, we have a support chat. So you have to do half a day every 2 weeks where you are directly in contact with users. We have a very strong feedback loop where basically every CS and sales is like a mini user researcher because they have questions to ask to every customers, and then we integrate all of that into product board. So we have this like really big asset of product feedback, and this is basically how we prioritize. That's coming back to the first question. We also take decisions based on all this user research that we do on a daily basis, watching Rahe sessions, looking at the data, talking to our users, being on the chat, having, I don't know, dozens of customer feedbacks from the CS and sales team every day on a dedicated Slack channel, etc. So we have this like huge amount of data. And then when we are into like a product opportunity, we want to understand the problem, or we want to validate a solution, then we're going to have like more targeted one-to-one conversations with our users. Okay, you talked to us about this. We want to understand more. What did you need? When do you need it, etc. Or you told us about this. We have different solutions. Can we talk to you? And like then we do user tests, things like that.
Within that, do you have sort of segments within the customers that you're looking at in terms of, this is an area in which we're eager to grow, or this is an area in which we're already pretty strong in terms of prioritizing requests from users or feedback?
Yes, so this is basically what we do in product vision and product strategy. You can't always prioritize things that are coming back from your existing users, because otherwise you don't grow in adjacent product or adjacent users. So it's really our role in leadership to say, okay, well, we have our current user base and we have our current core product, but we're not going to invest more than 50% of our resources in this, because we also want to invest in our vision and the future of PlayPlay. And this is how you make sure that you're not always optimizing on your current experience, but you're also building for the future.
I want to bring up a question from Valerian. Do you have any ways to keep space in the roadmap for transversal technical projects like security, compliance, tech innovation, and how do you prioritize those?
Yes, so we're actually doing our Q4 roadmap at the moment. So when we go for a roadmap and we look at our capacity, we say, okay, we're only going to plan for 70% of it, and we're going to keep 30% of our total capacity for what we call flex or pirate topics. When you really have to do something and it's mid of your quarter and you hadn't anticipated it. And then when we plan for things, we have a budget for tech and a budget for product. So then tech can also work on like new frameworks or big tech projects or refactor, etc. So overall, when we plan for a roadmap, it's only 50% of our capacity that are going to be invested in all of these product opportunities and solutions and iterations. 50% is going to be for tech, quality, and everything that you can't plan for.
I think we have time for at least one or so more questions. So this one is from Luis. How do you estimate the delivery date, and how do you manage if that date's surpassed? So really focused on the delivery section of the work.
So we're really bad at it, but we've learned from it. So we never communicate a date to anyone. So we have soon, later, etc. So that we don't want to set expectations with our clients and that we can't meet. So what we try to estimate with what we call a release plan, where the squad say, okay, we want to build this, how are we going to split it, how are we going to do like, different versions, or what is the minimal viable product that we can have, whatever. But honestly, our main strategy is never communicate a date about it. Unless we really have, we're in the enterprise world, so sometimes we have very specific constraints, but then we've been able to meet them being very realistic, taking buffer on top of buffer when we give estimations to our clients. And then that's how it works.
So you don't communicate dates externally, but you must have them internally in order to try with those buffers incorporated, or
Yeah, like internally, in terms of like how we manage delivery, squads have release plans, and then we coach them on their release plan, and we have updates. But that's only internal product and tech. And then internal stakeholders, we have rough dates. Yeah, sometimes in September. And then with our clients, it's like, yes, soon, before the end of the year. So the more it's external to our little delivery world, the more vague it is.
great. I think, according to the timer on the stage, I think that we're close to time. But I wanted to invite people to come and continue to ask questions of Pauline in a breakout lounge.